Hello, I'm Nichole Christoph, the Deputy Director of Crime Stoppers of Houston. I want to take a few moments to share some important information about how our tip line works. For example, did you know that the Crime Stoppers reward of up to $5,000 is available on any unsolved felony case or for any fugitive that has an active warrant? Many people don't know that. This includes all cases, whether or not Crime Stoppers is the organization that issued the press release on the case or not. The only requirement to be eligible for the reward is you must provide your tip to Crime Stoppers through one of the following three ways. Number 1, call the tip line at 713-222-TIPS or 8477. Number 2, by using our mobile app, simply search for Crime Stoppers Houston wherever you get your apps. And number 3, by using our online form on our website at crime-stoppers.org. All three ways are 100% anonymous. We get asked all the time about being anonymous. How do I get my reward if you don't know who I am? You must have caller ID or record phone calls, right? Did you know that state law protects your anonymity if you call Crime Stoppers? We don't have caller ID, and we do not record any of the calls made to the tip line. All tips submitted through the mobile app and the website are scrubbed of IP addresses or anything else that could lead to the tipster's identity. State law prohibits us from collecting any of that data. The same may not be said for other reporting platforms or reporting directly to law enforcement. Nearly anyone can be eligible for a reward. However, there are a few people who are not. Law enforcement, bail bonds companies, community leaders, the actual victim or victim's family, and Crime Stoppers employees and board members. Another question we get quite often is about increasing the Crime Stoppers reward. It's not uncommon for a family or business to add money to a Crime Stoppers reward. We call this a supplemental reward. We have a very secure and simple method in place for setting up a supplemental reward. This process protects the donor and the tipster. We have a supplemental reward agreement that spells everything out. The donor must provide the funds to secure the reward up front. Those funds are deposited into an escrow account and will only be used if a Crime Stoppers tip helps solve that case. Additionally, those funds must remain with Crime Stoppers for at least 1 year. If Crime Stoppers receives a tip and that helps solve the case, we will facilitate the full payment of the additional reward along with the standard Crime Stoppers reward. If the case remains unsolved after 1 year, the donor can request a refund or let the reward remain in place. If the case is solved by means other than a Crime Stoppers tip, the donor can request a refund or donate the funds to Crime Stoppers. Everything that Crime Stoppers puts out is coordinated with law enforcement and the donor to ensure the safety of the donor and the integrity of the case. We've all seen an individual or a company offer their own reward for a specific case. Of course, anyone can do this. However, we urge someone with that idea to consider the following. Crime Stoppers and the Crime Stoppers reward cannot be included on any flyers or social media communication. Consider, how would you take and process the tips? How would you pay the tipster? Offering a large sum of money on your own could open you up to unscrupulous people that could try to take advantage of you. It could also drive a suspect that the police may be aware of further into hiding. What would you do if you knew the person the tipster was reporting on? Personally taking tips or having someone else outside of Crime Stoppers could jeopardize the integrity of the tip, making it hearsay. Make the tipster ineligible for the Crime Stoppers reward. Call records could be discoverable, which could provide the identity of the tipster. If the tipster is also a witness, the prosecution could be jeopardized because the witness was paid for their testimony. You could also be called to testify because you are now part of the evidentiary process, making you ineligible to be present during the trial of your own case. Paying a reward to an unknown tipster could put you at risk of being further victimized. It could also place a tax implication on you and the tipster. All of that said, Crime Stoppers will always take tips on any case and ensure that they are provided securely to the appropriate law enforcement agency, and we will continue to pay our tipsters securely and anonymously, just like we have for over 40 years. We will never stop working to keep Houston and Harris County a safe community to live, work, and play. In closing, here are a few things we want everyone to remember. Crime Stoppers will never ask you for your name, phone number, address, or information that could identify you. We don't record phone calls or have caller ID. No one's going to know you called us unless you tell them. Once you give us your tip, you will be given a code number. This is the only way Crime Stoppers can identify you. You need to remember this code number and provide it when you call back to check the status of your tip. Crime Stoppers cannot call you with the status of your tip because we don't have your phone number. When you call back with your code number, we will let you know if your tip helped law enforcement arrest or charge a felony suspect or fugitive. If it did, we will give you instructions to go to a specific bank on a certain date to pick up your cash reward. You will not be asked to show any ID at the bank, and the money that you receive does not have to be reported to anyone. Crime Stoppers may pay cash rewards of up to $5,000 on serious crime in the greater Houston area. The only requirement is you must report the tip directly to the Crime Stoppers tip line. Thank you so much for your time today.